We've enjoyed a nice recent break from tropical activity in the Atlantic.
But as AccuWeather's lead hurricane expert Alex De Silva explains, activity is about to ramp back up.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing big changes in the Atlantic coming at the end of August, starting probably around August 27th. I think one of the big factors that's been kind of inhibiting tropical development, at least for most of the month of August, is going to start to go away, and that is the African dust. That's Saharan dry air that's been coming across the Atlantic and kind of choking off these tropical waves. Thinking by the end of August, I think a lot of that dust will start to wane, and so as we approach the peak of the hurricane season, which is September 10th, we're going to start to see a lot more of these robust waves coming off of the coast of Africa. And without that dry air, or at least less of it, I think they're going to have a better shot of developing.
All right. While the Atlantic has been quiet, the Pacific has been active. Hone brought heavy flooding, rain, and gusty winds to Hawaii. Some of that flooding was pretty nasty out there. And we've been dealing with, again, a lot of concerns about flooding there, especially for the Big Island earlier this weekend. The rain has been exiting, and it's been pulling away to the west here, thankfully, so we're getting a bit of a break there. We have a radar view, and some of this is supplemented by satellite data for the area around the west side of Hawaii. And you can see, again, where the heaviest rain and the flooding had been. It was mainly over the Big Island. We had some rain off to the north, but overall, rain tied to Hone is exiting. And we're in better shape there, at least in the short term. But we want to jump to the Atlantic here because a lot of us are very interested in how the next month is going to progress, especially with the southeast coast, the Carolina coast, Texas coast in mind here, and in between Louisiana as well. We've had 5 named storms so far, and we're right around average, really. We typically would see our 5th named storm form on August 22nd. That was 4 days ago. So we're not ahead or behind of the average for the number of storms that we've seen. We did see a lot of energy with Debbie. Debbie was an unusually strong storm for a long period of time this early in the season. Typically, our 3rd hurricane forms, at least the average statistic, lands on September 7th, and the first major hurricane would land on September 1st. We've already had 3 hurricanes and 1 major hurricane, so we're marginally ahead of average there for those metrics. We're going to keep our eye out for a series of tropical waves. I'm just kind of drawing the troughs here on the map. Across the eastern Atlantic, things are getting more active. We have a lot of dry air, though, a lot of dry air in the short term, and even arguably into places off to the west near the Turks and Caicos. So we're not expecting anything too soon in the Atlantic, but we will be looking for one of those tropical waves to enter this area here this coming weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, a week from now. We have a low chance, again, a low chance of development here off to the east of the Caribbean. So again, that's the next thing that we'll be watching in the Atlantic basin. But as we do take you back into the Pacific, just because, again, this has been an area where there's been more activity, even though it's a little bit lower impact moving away from Hawaii. Hone is moving away, and that's not going to bring any additional significant impacts, although there are still some big waves that we've inherited from the past few days from that near miss, or at least you could call it a direct hit, at least, even though we didn't see landfall because the rain really intensified. And look at that waterfall in Hilo. Elsewhere to the east of Hawaii, here is Gilma. Gilma is a hurricane, and this is going to continue to move west. Gilma is a Category 2 hurricane now, but look at this. We're going to go back down to a tropical storm by 8 a.m. Wednesday. Tropical depression as it passes actually north of Hawaii this weekend. Remember, Hone passed to the south. But overall, Gilma is going to be passing to the north as a weaker storm. And beyond that, we have Hector on the map, too. So a lot of action. Hector is a tropical storm and will remain a tropical storm. This will take a path kind of halfway between where Hone and Gilma will be moving. But also, similar to Gilma, we're looking at this weakening to a tropical depression, then a tropical rainstorm, losing its wind energy before it makes that close push into Hawaii.